Should we talk about the other angry quote that we heard from Thomas Tuchel?
Absolutely,
This was after losing against Arsenal by 4-0 in pre-season. The Chelsea coach not happy and coming out and saying we were simply not competitive. The worrying part is that the level of commitment physically and mentally for this match was far higher for Arsenal than for us. It was surely not our strongest lineup. This is a part of an explanation, but only a little part. I cannot guarantee we'll be ready in 2 weeks. Mark, the boys, quite rightly, over the last couple of days have said basically, well, isn't it your job to have everyone ready?
Well, that's it. I mean, a coach can complain about the attitude of his team, but that ultimately boils down to him. You know, that's his job to get the team ready. Now, Tuchel had other complaints about the lack of, quality players that he's added to his squad. That isn't his fault. That's more the people above him. And his frustrations there are rooted maybe in 6 months because Chelsea have been, in paralysis for 6 months because the situation with the takeover, with Abramovich. Todd Bowley's now taken over, but I don't think what they've done so far with Raheem Sterling and Koulibaly, it's actually improved Chelsea. It's just replaced what they've lost. They've lost Lukaku, they've lost Rudiger, they've lost Christensen, so they're no better off than they were last season. So that I can understand his unhappiness, and he's complaining about the players he's got left. People like Werner, who is saying that the goal scoring situation hasn't changed because the same players as last year. He inherited Werner, and I can see his problem there. But if you're complaining about the attitude of your players as the coach, that's your fault, and he's actually pointing a finger at himself. So I think Tuchel's got to be careful. I mean, if this kind of attitude, not attitude, if these outbursts were happening under the old regime under Abramovich, then you could probably say that his time's numbered. We don't know what Todd Bowley will be like as an owner, but I think the way that Tuchel's talking right now, it's a dangerous game because if you start the season poorly, Everton away first game of the season, that's a tough one. You're putting yourself into a difficult position, and he's not helping himself at all. But he's a guy that's got a bit of a temper. We've seen that in his previous jobs, and he does create friction at times with people above him and below him. So this could be the beginning of the end for Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea, because often when you criticise the players and the board, there's only one way back for that, and that's out the exit door.
Basically, pre-season is a get-out for any coach to turn round and say, it's pre-season.
Yeah, calm down.
Calm down. But then when you shut the door and you get in the dressing room, then you start pointing the finger and telling some home truths about commitment and attitude. You don't do that in the papers pre-season. That tells you that there's a problem with Tuchel.
Alessandro, is it just a case that it is pre-season, and once the season starts properly for Chelsea, they'll switch the switch and they'll be fine?
Well, we need to consider that last year for Chelsea was a very difficult and unusual year, after what everything happened, between the ownership and the change of the ownership. So that is affecting, of course, from my point of view, this pre-season as well. And the problem that came out, because when you win 2 seasons ago, everything was perfect. Everybody were great, amazing. Now, when you start losing some pieces, some games and some trophies, you can really see what's going on for real. So I think Tuchel has a lot of work to do. I agree that this isn't not the best way to talk in front of the press, even if your team is, make a disaster appearances. But, they have all the potential, all the players and the staff, everything to perform very well at the start of the season. So they need to work hard in the next 2 weeks. So that's the thing. And I think they're going to be okay. I don't think they're going to have some problem after this loss.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.